It was a hard game after the 1-1. Before the 1-1 we play not so good in the second half, and after the 1-1 we make it better. Reece scored an amazing goal and what bring us back into the game, and at the end a corner decide the game. So we are very happy that we win today, and hopefully that we win more games next time.
So please tell me, how is it different playing in England then compared to Germany?
The game is totally different. In some situations you have a lot of more space because the field is very big and you can make a lot of runs like we have in the first half after we lead 1-0. But yeah, when you come out of the cabin in the second half, the game was totally different. It changed completely, and the other team, Brighton, does very well and give us a lot of problems. And of course the facilities and the strength of the defenders. I play against 3 massive defenders. You don't have something like that in Germany, so I'm happy to be here, and I think it was a good first game for me and for the whole team.
Are you here? What did you make of it? It's only very early days, but his all-round contribution.
Very sharp. He's somebody I'm very impressed with him. Would like to see him get a couple more chances. I don't think they created enough for him. But like I say, once he gets it and he gets himself in that position where he's in between, for me, get himself in between the 18-yard box. Let the other guys do all that work outside. I think he's going to score a lot of goals here. It's interested in him, hearing him saying about the 3 big defenders. For me, even better for him to stay in and around them and start making runs in those little holes, what the guys will be able to create for him.
And this is a guy who's played 200 times in Germany, and still, after one Premier League game, is noting the big difference.
There's a big difference, you know, because the Premier League is quite diverse, and he's going to come up against different teams. When you look at the Bundesliga, you're talking about Dortmund, Bayern, Leipzig, and Leverkusen. They're probably the top 4 teams in the Bundesliga, and every team plays the same, more or less, like they do in Spain and France. As Wright said, the Premier League is so diverse. You come up against different formations, different players. You still got to go to Burnley yet, right? You still got to go to Burnley. That'd be a shock for him. But that's when sometimes when you buy these German players, because they're efficient, they know the jobs, they're strong, they're mentally tough, and whether he's playing up against a 6'6" striker or a 5'8" striker, he still will make the same runs. It looks like he doesn't mind getting a knock. It looks like he's quite robust in what he does. He will score goals for this Chelsea team.
Let's hear from the man then that signed him. Here's the Chelsea boss, Frank Lampard.
Frank, you got the points. Did you get the performance that you wanted as well?
Yeah, I did because to come to Brighton and win is a tough ask for everybody. We've only had a few days to work as a team, new signings in there. So I didn't expect the kind of football we're probably going to want to play. That takes time and a bit of work, and that will come. But today, when you can't always produce that, you have to dig in, you have to do things well, do some of the more difficult side of the game, sometimes the defensive, the resilience, throwing yourself in front of the ball in terms of defensively. Our centre-halves I thought were fantastic tonight, and we get our goals, so I'm pleased. Tough place to come.
And what did you make of your debutants? Because there's been a lot of talk about Timo Werner and Kai Havertz.
Yeah, I think Timo's speed to win the penalty, because the ball had a lot on it, slightly overcooked, and he got there and was sharp and showed threat all night. He's a very mobile player. Comes into midfield areas straight away, ends up in high areas and being a threat. So I liked his performance, and we'll see more of that. And with Kai, similarly, I think we saw some lovely touches, some really good work ethic from him. I loved his run back to defend for us as well. But what Kai's going to bring is a lot more than that, and that will take time. He's trained for 4 days. He's not particularly fit. I think to get the minutes out of him today will only be good for him in his first little step in English football. He's going to be a huge player for this club. They both will.
Brighton definitely had their moments, so it was critical really that you got yourself back in front as quickly as you did, and what a goal as well from Reece James to do it.
Yeah, it was a great goal, and what pleased me most, of course, the strike, but the position he ends up in. We want Reece in those positions. He have quality to produce crosses from inside areas, but sometimes to get shots away, and he did that. And yeah, it was perfect timing for us, and that's what you rely on, players of quality to produce moments. It was a tough match for us, as I keep saying. So a real moment of quality from Reece, and there'll be more of those.
As much as it's a poor result for Brighton, they've got to take confidence in that performance.
OK, so 3-1 Chelsea have won at Brighton. Wolves earlier today are getting off to a winning start as well. 2-0 away at Sheffield United. So we now have 8 fixtures completed on the opening weekend of the Premier League. Goal in this, at least for Brighton, and they're proved to be. What about it from a Chelsea point of view?
Well, I think it's for me, it's down to the goalkeeper. I think that I think when we do see it, it maybe comes in, might be a little bit unsightly, but when you see where that is, I think that he has to save that. I don't think there's no surprise that there's links with Edouard Mendy from Rennes, same place where Peter Cech came from, funnily enough. But, you know, you cannot be a team that's competing and trying to catch the Liverpools, Man Cities of this in this league and have a goalkeeper that has let in 9 of the last 13 shots he's faced. So that they're on target. You know, that's not good enough.
I thought it was unlucky, to be fair. I've got to stick in the Kepa camp because, listen, yeah, the ball did move. He's got 3 or 4 players in front of him. I was more disappointed with Mason Mount. You know, he just ambles out to Trossard. You know, as a midfield player, and I've played centre midfield in my life, once that ball goes back, as a midfield player, you get as close as you can. He just walks out and with all the time in the world. Midfield player, and I've played centre midfield in my life. Once that ball goes back, as a midfield player, you get as close as you can. He just walked out and with all the time in the world. It was a good shot. Listen, it's gone under the keeper's arm. But, you know, it's just one of those. I feel Kepa at the moment was under so much pressure. We know Frank doesn't really want him there. We know he's looking at another goalkeeper, as Wright said. And everything it gets analysed. It does dip a bit. Yes, he'd be disappointed. But sometimes you've got to stop things at source. And I don't think the Chelsea midfield did that enough.
Well, the good news for Chelsea was 100 seconds later, the man we just heard from, Reece James, did this.
Well, you know, you look at Tariq Lamptey, who's had to move on from being a right back, and we're thinking, why have they let him go? And then you see the current right back from 25 yards hit a shot like that. That is just magnificent. He's a very highly rated player. But I think that when you looked at the way
kicks and corners as well, didn't he? You know,
what's the goal that is? Brilliant goal.
It was going, Lamptey, how can he not get in the Chelsea side? that's the reason why, because he scores goals like that.
Unbelievable strike.
He's caught it perfect, to be fair. Can't do much about it. As I said before, Brighton are going to feel unlucky because there's a 25-yarder. One day they gave him Rose Ed. Unfortunately, they winning a top-end keeper.
OK, so that was 2-1 Chelsea. Then a big moment in the game. A golden opportunity
massive moment,
for Brighton.
Moment. And you said, you know, Brighton did OK. They played the ball well. They passed it in the right areas. When you play against the top teams, the Chelseas and Man United Cities, you've got to score these. You have to score these. And it just shows the deficiency, as Wright mentioned before the game, about Chelsea's defence. They're all at 6s and 7s. You should never allow the player of that calibre, a centre-half, right head of the ball with all that space to score. He tried to put too much purchase on it. He tried to flick it when he actually had to hit the target. So they'll be disappointed. That goes to 2-2, and then they're back in the game. So they'll be disappointed with that.
It's, you know what? If you want it to fall to somebody in there, it's probably Lewis Dunk and the way he plays for Brighton. I was very surprised he missed that. You know, it's a very easy header. You don't need to do anything with that, like I've said there. But like, it's you know what? It weren't their night. It weren't their night tonight. You know, you could see it was more Chelsea's night with the luck they had, even with their third goal, which we're probably going to see. And like I say, they gave away the first goal. You cannot give them these chances. That there, just head it towards Kepa. Just head it towards the goalkeeper. Don't try and do what he's done there. He's trying to guide it into the goal. There's enough goal there. For me as a striker, you just head that straight into where it's coming from. And if the keeper saves it, and you think, oh my gosh, how's he saved it? You cannot miss the target there.
That was one central defender at one end, and then at the other, Kurt Zouma off the
goalkeeper, and with Liverpool's goalkeeper, they will save games for you. They will win games for you. Chelsea won't do that with Kepa.
When I was talking to Frank before the game, we're under no illusions. We lost 11 league matches last season and still finished in the top 4. And if they're going to close the gap, then they have to eradicate that.
Of course they do. Whether it's Kepa, I don't know. I mean, that's right. They're looking at someone else. But just as a unit, you've got to defend better. You know, I kind of look at Chelsea as a little bit of soft touch. You know, really, really do. They played all a nice football. We talked about Loftus-Cheek tonight. He was so frustrating, me and Wrighty. You know, for someone with so much talent, he's not a kid no more. You know, 24, 25, a young man. This was a chance for him to kind of grab the game and say, listen, I'm still here. You know, especially with the players coming in, he's not. You know, and they're so soft in areas. They need to toughen up all over the park. Yes, you can look at Kepa, but you also got to look at Dunker, free-headed there. Where's the centre-halves? You know, it's a whole unit sometimes. I think it's easy to blame the keeper because he's the last of the defence, but sometimes the whole unit from the back 4 to the centre midfield players have got to defend the goal better.
And it's easy to blame this keeper because he makes a lot of mistakes.
And you always blame him by the looks of it.
No, it's there. The stats are there to see. You know, when you look at the amount of goals, I'm not sure. 13 shots on target, he's letting 9.
But is he as made as many mistakes as David De Gea last year?
Well, No, it's there. The stats are there to see. You know, when you look at the amount of goals,
I'm not sure.
13 shots on target, he's letting 9.
But is he as made as many mistakes as David De Gea last year? Because he's the last of the defence. But sometimes the whole unit from the back four to the centre midfield players have got to defend the goal better.
And it's easy to blame this keeper because he makes a lot of mistakes.
And you always blame him by the looks of it.
No, it's there. The stats are there to see. You know, when you look at the amount of goals, I'm not sure. 13 shots on target, he's letting 9.
But is he as made as many mistakes as David De Gea last year? Well, this is the question. And because he's the last of the defence, but sometimes the whole unit from the back four to the centre midfield players have got to defend the goal better.
And it's easy to blame this keeper because he makes a lot of mistakes.
And you always blame him by the looks of it.
No, it's there. The stats are there to see. You know, when you look at the amount of goals, I'm not sure. 13 shots on target, he's letting 9.
But is he as made as many mistakes as David De Gea last year? Well, this is the question. And getting on it, where he wants to start drifting out left. I think Havertz could be as a number 10 for me. I don't think, you know, at Leverkusen, where he's played as a centre forward all last season, not used to running back, you know, with full-backs and that. I think he hasn't got the pace. We saw one time when he gave it away and he had to kind of get back, but that's not his game. You don't pay £90 million for someone to keep chasing full-backs back. So I see him as more as a number 10. Whether you can go with a Pulisic and Havertz, I don't know, but it's the balance of the team that's so important for me. And when you look at Liverpool's top 3, City's top 3, Man United's now top 3, you know, they play consistently every week. Frank's got to get that top 3 or 4, where it is, right, if they're going to get challenged this title this year.
The thing with Timo Werner, with his pace, once he does get to the pace of the Premier League and the actual system, what he's going to play. I don't know what it was today. Was it a 4-2-3-1? And if that's the case, then he will stay right in the centre. And he's got to learn to do that, because if you're going to have Pulisic, Havertz and Ziyech, then that's enough chances for you to stay in there and not start to drift out. Probably, if it's me right now, that's what he'll probably have to learn to do, because I don't see him playing anywhere else in respect to the way Frank wants to do it, because I see him as their goal-scoring guy. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works, because the rest of those guys, they play those positions, and they're the creativity for him to be the end product.
And some nice touches from Havertz along the way tonight.
Yeah, I think that it was one of those situations, again, where he's playing against a team that you'll see is Brighton, and the games what he plays in Germany, you know, it's a similar kind of intensity, but nothing's like the Premier League and what this Brighton team, how this Brighton team played today. But you could see his left foot looks very nice, got some nice touches, seems very, very calm and cool about the way he plays the game.